Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. And today we're looking at Kid Omega, aka Kid Tumbler, and we're going to talk about how to acquire him, the different ways you can do that, if you should go all in on the character and as far as like rank up tickets and things like that go, and then how you should go about building him and what game modes I think he is preferable for or kind of best suited for. So first of all, how do you obtain Kid Omega? There's quite a few different ways of going about it. So the fastest and most expensive option first is to just go into the acquire tab of the shop and purchase him for crystals. It'll be 2,500 up front. I don't know why it says limit 2, but then after you purchase him at 6 stars, actually it's not at 6 stars. Oh man, it's even more expensive. Never mind. So you have to basically purchase this twice to unlock him at 6 stars. This is a horrible deal. It's 5,000 crystals to get a 6-star Kid Omega, whereas you could just get 10 biometrics for him any other means, and then just spend those 2,500 crystals on a mega rank up ticket. So actually, even if you're desperate, you should never, ever use this page. It's awful. So, how can you actually acquire Kid Omega bios? Well, this is very entertaining. So, you can, first of all, go into the lab. If you've saved up any antimatter, you can go over to the processor. If you've upgraded it to the highest, or to a high enough level, you'll have the X-Gene processor, and then you can use the X-Gene processor, and I'll give you a little example right here, and you can get Kid Omega bios there. There I got 2, and so a simple way would be to do this until you get 10 bios. 10 bios will let you unlock the character, and then you can either use a mega rank up ticket that you get from a login or check-in event, or you can use one that you purchase for crystals. Again, 2,600 crystals will get you a mega rank up ticket, and you can get him immediately to 6 stars, which is what I did. And then you can either continue to use the shield processor lab to create more biometrics, kind of randomly, of Kid Omega. You can also then supplement that by going into the danger room and playing. Your first daily rewards can be Kid Omega bios, 15 of them, in addition to any of the chests you get at the end of the season can also hold Kid Omega bios. So you can get, a semi-consistent number of bios for him through that. And then as well, if you have any purchases or if you have any X-Gene selectors, these purple selectors, you can also choose Kid Omega from these selectors. So we have one, for example, coming up as part of the spinning, whatever it's called, the roulette. And so the roulette bonus item for today after spinning will be 20 X-Genes. You can use those 20 X-Genes on Kid Omega. You can also get X-Genes from the one of these Epic Quest missions. I believe it's in the X-Men tab. Yes, you get right here, you get a 50 X-Gene selector if you finish all of these quests, and that can also be used, as you can see, on Kid Omega. So there's a bevy of ways to unlock him, and then from there you have to decide how you're going to get more biometrics for him. I've already attained enough biometrics for him by also purchasing the Cyclops special pack or surprise pack, which does cost real money. I got a bunch of Kid Omega bios that way. I used a bunch of X-Gene selectors as well, so I have him all ready to go at tier 1 gear 20. So now we're going to use a tier 2 ticket. Generally speaking, for X-Men, you want to use a tier 2 ticket because the cost is pretty expensive as far as the feathers and the Mcron crystals. It's 1,000 Mcron crystals and it's 800 feathers. Those can be put towards another character's potential. If you have X-Men that you want to get up to level 70, perhaps Namor, perhaps new Cyclops, and so on and so forth. So for the most part, I recommend saving up these tier 2 tickets for X-Men, but also you should use them for premium characters if you can get their gears to 20 by other means. Those are sort of the 1 and 2 best characters to use those tier 2 tickets on. So we've got a Omega Power Kid Omega tier 2. Let's grab these gold here and check out what we're dealing with now. So his build overall, I think, tends towards PvE content. He doesn't have damage reduction. He doesn't have any guaranteed dodge. He doesn't have penetration on any of his skills, so that means he's probably not going to be very well suited for PvP. But PvE, he has quite a few different tricks up his sleeve. So he's got a 3-second immunity that you can spam every 3.5 seconds, which is really, really nice. He's also got this 4-second paralysis, which you can basically call mind control because it freezes the boss, and it works on world bosses. So you can always open up with 5 and then go into 4. 4 gives him a really nice 30% all attack, 30% crit rate buff, but it's not an iframe or any sort of protection skill, so you absolutely need to follow up or do before 4. You need to pre-up your 4 with either a 5 or a 1 for the protection, and then 2 and 3 just seem kind of like whatever skills, but he does have a self-buffing leadership, which is very nice. I don't have an obelisk on him right now, but anything with mind damage, you know, double mind damage proc or a mind damage crit damage proc. The only thing he doesn't need, of course, is crit rate, because he's getting that crazy 30%. So if you can see here, I have 41%. I'm almost capped already without an obelisk, just from my ISO 8 set and my cards. I'm almost capped on ignore defense and cooldown, so we're actually just going to take him into some content. Again, Power of Angry Hulk, probably the best ISO 8 set for him, unless you have insane attack speed on your cards. You could also go with Hawk's Eye, because he's missing cooldown and ignore defense from his gears, from his regular 4 gears. We're going to jump into, let's try stage 40 of Ebony Maw. It's not that difficult. We were doing it earlier with Cyclops. We're just going to sub in Kid Omega here, and we're going to use 2 strikers. We don't have any extra mind damage buffs, but both of these strikers are going to help him out, and then he's going to have a self-buffing leadership. So, you know, he doesn't have a heal, even though he has got the Phoenix Force tag, and he also has the Phoenix Force tag as a striker. He could be a good striker. We're going to have to test it out and see. And so those of you that have a tier 1 or a tier 2 Kid Omega, try him out as a striker, because if he uses his 5th skill a lot, you'll be able to get that 4 seconds of paralysis, which is basically like, basically like a mind control. So we pop the paralysis, and then we immediately go into 5, and then we can immediately pop into 1 and 3, and we can basically just do that, and we're basically protected the whole time. He's paralyzed for 4 seconds. As soon as the invincibility goes away, we pop the 1 for the immunity. We start to accumulate. When the immunity's done, we pop the 5, and we go into the 4. So you can see this is not only really cool looking, but it's also quite simple. I think he's a very easy character to use, and he's a very safe character to use, as long as the world boss can be affected by the paralysis consistently. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit against Cull Obsidian, because Cull Obsidian has debuff cleanse, and he also has reduced debuff duration. So you may find that that 4 seconds starts turning into 3 seconds or 2 seconds. Additionally, he's going to struggle against Thanos in the second phase of the fight. But you can see here, he's able to do a stage 40. Maybe not, he might not be able to complete it, but he is, you know, he's getting there without even having an obelisk. So I think Kid Omega is a pretty solid character to invest in if you, either don't already have a lot of good clears for Ebony, although he is one of the easier world bosses to clear, or if you just like him because he can clear Ebony very, very easily. And this paralysis, as you can see, is very, very effective to just shut down Ebony and keep him kind of rooted in place for a long time. And actually, you can almost chain the paralysis back to back because of the time that it takes him to get out of it. It's like a 1 second difference. You can see there. So if he kind of stutters, if he just hesitates in between casting skills, you can actually chain your 5 into another 5, which is actually really nice. As far as obelisks go and sort of recommendations besides like mind damage, crit damage, or mind damage proc, I would say he doesn't need guard break immunity, because he gets 4 seconds or 5 seconds of invincibility on his 5th skill, so he won't get guard broken the majority of the time, and he's got a long iframe on 2, so it allows him to dodge things quite easily. If you're going to get guard broken, the 2 is just a long instant iframe, which is really nice. And you can actually follow up 2 into 5. Oh, I think we missed there. We got interrupted. But I think a strategy you can also use is to follow 2 into 5 at the end of your rotation, because that will allow you to sort of freeze the boss because there's no targeting. So we're going to try that actually now. So we're going to use the iframe on 2. We were a little bit early casting it, but it still kind of works. And you can see here, you know, half the time is done and half the boss's HP is gone. So he's getting it done without an obelisk at tier 2. With some Uru, which is actually quite nice. I think you're going to have to invest more into the Uru for him specifically, because he does lack some of those important ignore defense and skill cooldown stats. But otherwise, I think he's a solid character. I think he's an above average character, and I think he's going to outshine a lot of other Blast characters. I think he's comparable, honestly, to Psylocke before she got her uniform. He might actually be a little bit better than that, because he has a 40% self-buffing leadership, and then he also applies that self-buffing leadership to characters like Emma Frost without the new uni, of course Psylocke, and a bunch of other characters, in addition to Jean Grey. You can actually get some Jean Grey mind damage action. You could combine Kid Omega's leadership with Ghost Panther to give her a, almost 50-50 on both mind damage and fire damage. And as far as CTPs go, because he doesn't need the guard break immunity, I think that a CTP of energy would be solid for him. I also think a CTP of rage might be good as well, just because he doesn't have all defense down on his skills, so it will help him, you know, penetrate further. And he does get that crit rate bonus, so you don't have to worry about capping crit. You can just go ahead, like from here, I could just build the rest of his kit for dodge. Now his dodge is very low; it's 22%. So I would have to slap on basically I would have to fill the rest of those empty Uru slots all with dodge, which might not even be enough to get him, you know, further than like 40, maybe 45%. So it would be hard to cap. But then on the other hand, you've got capped crit rate, you've got some crit damage. Actually, you know what? He's going to have way over capped crit rate because the CTP of Rage itself gives him crit rate. So maybe that's not the best. Well, you could still do it, but you would definitely be over capped on crit rate because of the fact that he's already, I mean, I'm already at 40%, 42. I'm going to get at least 20% from a CTP of Rage. And then another 30, so that's 50, so that's 90%, so I'm 15% overcapped for that. But yeah, Shadowland only character, I doubt it. I think Kid Omega is a lot better than just Shadowland only, but you know what? Just for jokes, we're gonna jump into, oh, this is combat. For some reason, I thought Hawkeye was combat. That's female. Okay, I really don't know where to put Kid Omega. That's obvious from these refreshes. He's also not a villain. He's also not a speed type. He's also not a combat type. Wow. Okay, sure. Let's just try him against some machines. This should be a good test, because you know what, guys? Cage said, and you gotta respect Cage. You gotta respect the devs. The devs said Kid Omega was built for Shadowland. I think he's way better than just Shadowland. Still only a PvE character, but solid and, you know, not that difficult to get. So you paralyze, you go into 4, you bang, 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 bang. Oh, they're dead. Okay. Well, that was really easy. So you just paralyze and then just kill him. Just one shot. I mean, I know it's a stage 31, but damn. For a character with no obelisk, that's pretty impressive. Just blowing through Shadowland. He could probably go up to very high stages, like, you know, 24 easily at tier 1, just based on the fact that all of his effects are coming from his skills and not his tier 2 passive. So that is the really nice thing about a character like Kid Omega. All of his value is built into his skills. So I think even at tier 1, he will have value on your roster as a very, very easy Shadowland clear. And then he can also offer some potential as a striker because of that paralysis on his 5th skill, which is basically like a 4-second mind control. So let me know what you guys think of Kid Omega. Let me know how you're going to be picking him up, either through the Shield Lab, through the Danger Room, or some other method. Please do not spend those crystals in the shop. It's terrible. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.